You hear it every day. A voice in your head that comments, judges, plans, and worries. It sounds like you. It feels personal. It feels intentional. But psychologically speaking, that voice is not who you think it is. Your inner voice is not a single unified self. It's a process. Most of the time, we assume that thinking in words means there's a thinker behind them, a central me speaking from inside the mind. But neuroscience paints a very different picture. The brain doesn't have a narrator. It has systems. Your inner voice is the result of multiple brain networks interacting at once. Memory, emotion, prediction, language, and social modeling all contribute fragments, and your brain stitches them together into something that sounds like a person. That voice is largely built from borrowed material. When you were a child, thinking wasn't verbal, it was sensory and emotional. Language entered later, shaped by parents, teachers, culture, and authority. Over time, external voices became internalized. The way you speak to yourself now often mirrors how others once spoke to you. Encouraging, critical, demanding, dismissive. That's not coincidence. Psychologists call this internalized speech. Your brain uses language as a tool for self-regulation to guide behavior, suppress impulses, and simulate social interaction. In other words, your inner voice exists to manage you, not to express your essence. If you're interested in understanding how your mind actually works, not just surface-level advice, this is exactly what we explore here on LucidPsych. Much of inner dialogue is predictive. Your brain constantly runs simulations of possible futures. The inner voice verbalizes those predictions. Warnings, rehearsals, imagined conversations. This is why your mind replays embarrassing moments, why it practices arguments you'll never have, why it narrates potential failures before they happen. The voice isn't truth, it's preparation. And preparation often leans negative. From a survival perspective, anticipating danger mattered more than preserving comfort. A brain that worried survived longer than one that stayed calm. So the inner voice evolved to flag risks, not to reassure you. This also explains why the voice feels louder during stress or at night. When external distractions fade, the brain turns inward. The default mode network becomes active, a system involved in self-reflection, memory, and imagination. Silence gives the voice room to speak. But here's the crucial point. Thoughts are not commands. Your inner voice can suggest, it can predict, it can warn, but it cannot decide. Many people believe that a thought appearing means something is true, important, or urgent. But cognitively, a thought is just neural activity reaching awareness. No more, no less. The brain produces thousands of thoughts a day. Most are discarded automatically. The ones that linger feel meaningful simply because attention landed on them. This is where suffering often begins, not from the thought itself, but from identification with it. I am thinking this slowly becomes, this thought is me. But the inner voice is not the self, it's a tool the self uses. When you observe your thoughts instead of obeying them, something shifts. The voice loses authority. It becomes background noise rather than command center. If this perspective resonates with you, take a moment to subscribe to LucidPsych. We explore the science of consciousness, perception, and the mind, calmly, clearly, and without hype. This isn't about silencing the mind. That's unrealistic. It's about understanding what the voice is and what it isn't. It is not insight. It is not intuition. It is not identity. It's a simulation engine, a rehearsal space, a warning system that sometimes overreacts. Once you see that clearly, the voice still speaks, but it no longer controls the room. And in that space between thought and reaction, something important appears: choice. If you found this useful, consider liking the video. It helps more people discover LucidPsych. And I genuinely like to hear from you. What does your inner voice sound like when things get quiet? Let me know in the comments. I read them all. Sleep well.